We have. Paul, thanks for joining us. Disappointing night for your club. Just assess your team's performance for us.
I thought first half we had a lot of the ball, but we were wasteful with it. Leek dropped off, and all of a sudden we started going away from decisions we've been making over the last few weeks to just basically forcing issues and making a lot of poor choices. We actually made Leek look good at times, although they did do what they've done to a lot of teams over the last few years, and he showed why. Historically they've been up near the top of this division. They were just organised and waited for our mistakes, and we made enough of them to be punished, and we were.
And last week I came across and covered your game, and I know that Leek Town had you watched on that night, and it was a different Nantwich Town because you were popping the ball around, you were moving it quickly, you seemed to have loads of space. Is that Leek doing a job on you, seeing you play that way and say, right, we're not going to give you that space, we're not going to give you the out balls, we're going to mark you really, really tight and force you to make those mistakes?
Well, you know, I say this all the time, every team asks you different questions, and it's how you react in play and the decisions you make will define a lot of the time the result. And we didn't answer the questions that they put to us, and we didn't make the right decisions often enough. I don't think it was a lot to do with Leek's shape as such. I think it was more to do with our poor decisions, because you look from 1 to 11, we probably had Paddy Kay, who was anywhere near what he's been over the last few weeks, whereas Saturday we had probably 1 to 11, lowest rating out of 10 would have been 7. So when you drop off that much as an individual, and that many players in your team drop off that much, there's likely only one outcome, and we got that tonight, and we were, I've said it to them in there, we were manhandled by an experienced side in this league who know how to get results and just basically played on our mistakes.
I know the club's been hit by a lot of injuries, and when I spoke to you last week, you were saying that you needed to get players in, you needed to get bodies in. How's that working out for you? How difficult is it to go out there and find players that can come in and operate at the level or a little bit above? Well,
the bench all of a sudden looks better now because Sean's back, although he's only trained once. Kai Evans is back. So, but clearly we lack balance because Perry Berkhamshaw's out for a while. But that's no reason. We performed really well with the same 11 and the same subs on Saturday. We were outstanding. So it's nothing to do with who's missing or can we bring players in. That 11 that I picked today should be good enough to go anywhere and get a result. Whatever that looks like, we should be able to go anywhere and get a result. But when you perform, or you have that many players perform the way we did tonight with that many poor decisions, it doesn't matter where you go, whether it be one of the best teams or one of the lower end teams, you're gonna be found unstuck.
What do you do as a manager to change the mindset? Because obviously flying high on Saturday, low tonight, you've got a training session I would imagine on Thursday, you've got to pick them up again for Saturday. How do you go about it?
It's just reminders of why we've picked players, why we've signed players, what their strengths are, and we just have to keep drumming them reminders home, because I think when you get on a little bit of a run like we have done, when you have a few back-to-back performances like we have done before tonight, but it's only been 2 in the league, so you know, I certainly wasn't getting carried away. But sometimes when you've got some young players, that can happen, which it has, and they've been told in there that I won't be accepting it. It's as simple as that. And you know, the game on Saturday, that's going to be another tough game. So, like you say, you can't change your mindset for any opponent. You have to be focused. You have to come up with a way of playing in the game where whatever way you played the game before. Like you said, opposition asks you different questions. You have to come up with a way in the game. I could play that pass, I can't play it now, let's move it and let's see if someone else can play it. But today we were trying to force the issue, we were trying to play straight balls, and teams aren't that bad to accept that.
What's the pressure like on a manager at your level? We see it at the top, and you know we read about it an awful lot. But what's the reality of the pressure on a manager in the NPL West Division?
Well, are we 8 games in? Only 8 games into it, so you know I'm probably not the right person to ask. But it is. If you've got anything about you, you have your own standards, and when your team that you name, that you want to represent you, perform like we have done tonight, I put pressure on myself because I've picked that team, I've made those changes, I've delivered those tactics, I've gone through set pieces. So when you don't come off, you know, I don't look further than myself, but when I pick a team to represent me, I have to deal with that, I have to deal with the players. But in terms of pressure, I mean, you know, like you say, we're 8 games in, we're a little bit up and down in the league at the minute, we haven't really grasped any real form. But we'll get there. Well, you know, I'm confident that we've got the right personnel. We might need to make tweaks along the way, which, you know, I think we will. But like you say, let's judge us come the end of April.
Paul, thanks for joining us on Moorlands Radio Sport. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Cheers, Liam. Joining us in the Moorlands Radio commentary position is right full-back Liam Buckley. Now, Liam, I picked you as being man of the match tonight. I thought you had a wonderful game.
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much.
And what was it like to play in that game? Because they looked a better side, much better side on last Tuesday when I saw them. They were popping the ball back, they were fast in the movement, you know, didn't give any. What's the report back from Pete Ward? Luke, this is the way we would play, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, I think going into today, like off the back of Saturday, we were always going to be confident in what we could do, like defensively and everything, because we knew that they were always going to be good on the ball. But I felt like we controlled it, we were comfortable most of the game. But to be fair to them, now they've got some very good players that can keep the ball, move the ball very well, and they moved us back, especially in the first half. But no, I think we were very comfortable at the time. I
noticed there's a difference sometimes, especially tonight with the way that you play, because normally you get a high press on.
Yeah.
You didn't need to do that tonight. You were content to let them have it at their defensive line.
Yeah. Like I just said, we knew that we were just going to pass the ball back. You've got 2 pivots that always try to get on the ball, but with our shape and how solid we are, we're comfortable all the time.
Listen, I want to ask you about Saturday just gone, because it was a monumentous day for the club, and you perhaps had a taste of things at a higher level. 2 key moments in that game was the Rob Stevenson's header, which we think went behind the line. Goalkeeper scooped it out, a poker with the post, and then the penalty. What was your take?
Ball's mad, I don't want to.
It was. I agree. Do you agree with that, Mr. Cameraman?
Yes.
Yeah, he does. He does agree with that.
I've seen it back, seen pictures.
Yeah, it was.
The rest going to look back at it.
And what about the penalty?
Some are giving, some aren't, but I'm always going to be biased and say it's a penalty. But
looked at Stonewall penalty from where we were. Finally, how were the sandwiches?
Honest God, I won't give them my dog. Honest God, they're awful.
You're lucky they couldn't give you dog food.
It's so bad.
The social media storm that kicked off after that was hilarious. I thought Farrell thought it was going to go for them. It certainly went against them. Listen, getting back to the league, I mean, it's got a really important game going to Mosley on Saturday. 1 training session between now and then. What happens in those training sessions?
Yeah, I think the game's done now. We're all buzzing, but it's Thursday. It's just switch back on, straight on to Mosley. Don't dwell on the past. Although we've done very well. Although we lost at 5, we did very well. Done very well tonight. Obviously, clean sheet, 2 goals, but we have to go again Saturday.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining us, Liam. And we're just going to stop that. I know you're making you work overtime, Josh. But just stay with us, James, if you can, because Brehaut is going to pop that headset on for me. Josh, thanks for joining us. I'm going to say something to you now. I don't know if I'm right or not, but I covered a game last week against with Nantwich. Played against Runcorn, and Pete Ward was there, and I saw a very different Nantwich Town to the one I saw last week, because they were popping the ball around, loads of space, you know, really playing it to high intensity. You didn't allow them any room whatsoever tonight. Was that down to Pete Ward?
Pete can take some credit for sure. I mean, obviously the players have got to go and produce, but yeah, absolutely, we do our due diligence. Obviously, we go and watch as many games as we can, and Pete's fantastic, and Steve as well are fantastic on that for us. You know, most weeks they are out, you know, scouring the country at times. They've been to Grimsby. You know, they were very, very close to going to Barnet to watch Fylde. So they do some miles, and yeah, it's been great for us because it gives us an opportunity to set up and know what we're up against.
Well, I was saying to the team, look, this is going to be no walkover tonight, because I watched them last week and they could cause Leek some problems. But it is just the way you take that due diligence and you form a game plan. And it seemed to me tonight that at no point did you give any Nantwich player time to pick a pass, you know, to move it quickly. It was just that they were hitting a very, very well organised Leek side. Yeah,
and defensively we have been really, really strong. I've just said to the players, Nantwich Town won't lose many games of football, so that's a fantastic marker for us. And I don't think Staley Bridge will lose too many games of football. So we certainly can't get carried away and you know, get too far ahead of ourselves. That we really can't do that. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how solid we are as a defensive unit, and that is from front to back. If I'm being completely honest, we had a couple of challenges at half time that we needed to try and you know, alter, certainly in terms of how they were getting on the ball in midfield through our first defensive line. And I think, well, they actually changed their shape at half time, which surprised me a little bit. But I felt like we dealt really, really well with them, and they've got good players, you know. And obviously you've just had Buckley up, and I've said before about not picking people out and giving, you know, individuals too much praise, because it's a real team effort and they've all been amazing. But I will actually go on record and say Bucko on Saturday was, you know, unbelievable. I can't remember him being beaten in a 1v1 to then come 3 days later and play again in another really tough game, and then have an opponent come on against him for the second 45 who I know well and carries the ball really well. Give him no change, and at the end of the game that's why he's getting booked and clapping at the referee, the other lad, because he's frustrated. Bucko's giving him absolutely nothing. So, and I did say to him that I thought he was the man of the match, and it's difficult because your defensive line, I think, has just got something going on. They just, I don't know whether it's telepathic or whatever it is, but they seem to know where each other are, and they're a really difficult unit to break down. There's a real nice balance in there. Obviously Ollie's so dominant and obviously very experienced. He's got Julius alongside him who's obviously come in from playing at a lesser level in recent seasons, but he's got that left foot. He's got a real good physical profile. He moves well, and he's getting better and better with his defending. Keenan again, obviously, you know, Jules is really looking to play in between Ollie and Keenan. Keenan's obviously, again, I mean, what about the ball for the second goal? But not only that, he's so solid. He doesn't lose any aerial duel. His communication's fantastic for the team, and his 1v1 defending's been really, really good as well. And I think Matty's getting stronger and stronger, and flipping out, you know, I think any goalkeeper would like playing behind that back four, but I'm really, really pleased with Matty tonight as well. His start positions were fantastic, his focus was very good, he manages the game really well, his kicking's good, and he's not had too many saves to make, obviously, because of what's going on in front of him. And again, it's not just the back four, it is a collective effort. The work that the midfield get through, and the front lads, you know, Robbie and Aaron are putting in so much given how many minutes they've played as well. So I'm delighted really with every single one of them.
Well, you say about Matt Corrin, he had to make one smart save and he got down for a big lad really, really quickly to his right hand side, and he makes himself look big. How long can you keep him for?
Yeah, so we've got him until next Wednesday officially at the moment, but conversations are ongoing there in terms of trying to extend that. I know that, you know, Wigan have been fantastic with us, and I'm in regular contact with the goalkeeper coach there, and they obviously want Matty to be exposed to first team football, and
what they call men's football.
Yeah, that's it. But I think that this is a fantastic environment for him, and I think we've seen already how he's grown into the role, and we obviously, you know, we need to have a conversation with him about what we do beyond Saturday.
But you've got two players that you brought onto the bench, which were new names for us. Paddy Watts, we believe, Rochdale.
Yeah, so Paddy's been with us for a few weeks. He's a centre half, a young centre half who's a first year pro age, so he's 18 going on 19. come out of Rochdale, that's it. And I'm assuming Xander Park.
Xander Park, yeah.
So Xander's a goalkeeper who we took with us to Worcester following the red card that Eric had. So Xander's been training with us for probably 6 weeks. He's a goalkeeper that I've known from my time at Stoke City, and Xander had been a young pro at Shrewsbury, so he came out there in the summer. So he obviously came onto the bench for us today as well. Yeah. So
we obviously know that I think Eric Moon is out on loan. What's the situation with Joe O'Shaughnessy?
Yeah, so Joe wasn't in the squad today. He's still with the club, but wasn't in the squad today. So whether that'll change, I'm not too sure. We've also lost Saul Milovanovic, who's signed for Bootle, and so we've released his registration today. So yeah, there's been a couple of changes, and you know, the group's strong and people want to play football, and I completely respect that. And obviously we're going into a period now of another 8 games over the next month, so we are going to need to utilise the squad, and that may also entail obviously bringing in 1 or 2 as well. I
was going to say, because obviously you can see you've got players like Jake Avery getting most of the sides in this league. Tom Riley's shown some really good moments and passages of play. These lads want to be playing, don't they? And you've got other clubs that are snipping around and saying, you know, let's get 7 days in for you and see where we go. And it's a perpetual motion, is it? Perpetual rhythm all the time. You lose them, you've got to go and find them.
Of course, and that's obviously something that's new for me, and obviously something I'm learning on the job in terms of trying to manage a squad and keep people happy. And you're right, you mentioned Jake and Tom there, who haven't had the game time they would want. But again, you know, you see what Jake has to offer in the 20 minutes he comes on, because he's electric. And you know, certainly, you know, we certainly wouldn't want to lose a player like that, because he has something. He adds something to the group. He's had something different, and you need that variety. You know, Rob and Aaron have their strengths, and Jake and Tom Carr are different types of player and add theirs. And again, I'm pleased for Carr as well for him to get his goal.
Definitely. Final question, Mosley. You'll go up there with a game plan, but you'll also go up there with a massive amount of confidence.
Yeah, Mosley is always a difficult place to go. Obviously, it's quite a raucous atmosphere. They pack behind that goal, and you know, the pitch is usually quite heavy, and it makes for a difficult game. You know, war of attrition very often. So we've got to stand up to that test first and foremost, but then also try and showcase the quality that we've got to play our football. That'll hopefully allow us to go and obviously hurt them.
Josh, thanks for joining us, thanks for your comments as all, and well done tonight.
Thank you very much.
That's Josh Brehaut with us on Moorlands Radio.